The night shift always felt longer when the city went quiet. Streetlights hummed, rain slicked the asphalt, and the old garage at the corner of Maple and Ninth smelled like oil and coffee that had been reheated too many times. Adam Reyes wiped his hands on a rag and glanced at the clock. 12:17 a.m. Another hour, maybe two, and he'd lock up, drive home, and check on his daughter sleeping with her stuffed fox tucked under her chin. He was closing the hood on a rusted sedan when he heard a soft knock on the metal door. Not the confident knock of a tow truck driver or a cop. This was hesitant, almost apologetic. Adam hesitated. Midnight visitors were rare. Still, he walked over and pulled the door open. A girl stood there, maybe 10 or 11, rain dripping from the hem of her hoodie. Her hair was pulled into a messy braid, her sneakers soaked through. She looked up at him with wide eyes that tried hard to be brave. She said, voice trembling. Our car won't start. My mom's on the phone and I didn't know where else to go. Adam's instincts kicked in before his brain caught up. He grabbed a towel from the counter and draped it over her shoulders. Hey, it's okay. You're safe here. Where's your mom? She pointed across the street. A sleek black SUV sat under a flickering streetlight, hazard lights blinking like tired eyes. A woman stood beside it, phone pressed to her ear, posture stiff with frustration. Stay right here, Adam said gently. I'll take a look. He crossed the street, rain soaking into his jacket, and greeted the woman with a nod. She looked exhausted, sharp suit dampened by rain, hair pulled back tight, eyes shadowed by worry. She ended her call and gave a small, grateful smile. I'm sorry to bother you this late, she said. We broke down out of nowhere. I was waiting for roadside assistance, but they said it could take hours. No bother, Adam replied. Let's see what we're dealing with. He popped the hood, flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. The problem revealed itself quickly, a loose battery terminal, corroded and barely hanging on. Simple, fixable. You're lucky, he said. This won't take long. The woman exhaled like she'd been holding her breath all night. Thank you. While Adam worked, the girl peered from the doorway of the garage, clutching the towel. She watched him with open curiosity. Do you fix cars all the time? She asked. Pretty much, he said, tightening the terminal. Cars break, I help, same as people, I guess. She smiled at that. A few minutes later, the engine purred back to life. The woman's relief was immediate and sincere. I don't know how to thank you, she said. Please let me pay you. Adam shook his head. It's late, it was quick, just get home safe. She hesitated, then nodded. At least let me buy you coffee sometime. He smiled politely, but didn't commit. Life had taught him not to expect more than what was right in front of him. They drove off into the rain, hazard lights clicking off one by one. Adam watched until the taillights disappeared, then closed up the garage and headed home, the image of the brave girl with the towel around her shoulders lingering longer than he expected. The next morning, Adam was making pancakes when his daughter Lily padded into the kitchen, hair wild, eyes still half asleep. Daddy, she mumbled, climbing onto a chair. Did you work late? Yeah, he said, flipping a pancake. Help some people out. She smiled, syrup already on her chin. You always help. He kissed the top of her head, thinking nothing more of it. 2 days later, a black SUV pulled into the garage lot just after noon. Adam looked up from an engine block and froze. The same woman stepped out, this time dry, composed, and unmistakably important. The girl hopped out behind her, waving. It's him, she said brightly, the nice mechanic. The woman walked over, hand extended. I didn't properly introduce myself the other night. I'm Claire Whitmore. Adam shook her hand. Adam. I owe you more than a thank you, she said. You helped my daughter when she was scared. That matters to me. She glanced around the garage, taking in the worn tools, the faded posters, the honesty of the place. Would you join us for lunch? Both of you. Lily too, if she'd like. Adam hesitated. Pride and caution wrestled inside him. but the girl's hopeful smile tipped the balance. "All right," he said, "lunch." The restaurant was nothing like the diners Adam usually visited. White tablecloths, quiet music, waiters who moved like shadows. Lily's eyes widened, but she held herself proudly, just like her dad. Over lunch, Claire listened more than she spoke. Adam talked about Lily, about juggling work and parenthood since his wife passed. He didn't dramatize it. He never did. Claire watched him with an intensity that wasn't pity, it was respect. When the check came, Adam reached for it out of habit. "Please," Claire said gently, "let me." As they stood to leave, Claire paused. "Adam, I'd like to talk business sometime. I run a company, Whitmore Dynamics." He nodded, unfamiliar with the name. She smiled faintly. "We're expanding, and I invest in people who show up when it matters." A week later, Adam stood in a glass-walled office on the top floor of a downtown tower, hands clasped behind his back. The view alone felt unreal. Claire sat across from him, relaxed, confident. "I'm a CEO," she said plainly. "A millionaire if titles matter, but that night none of that helped my daughter. You did." Adam absorbed that in silence. "I want to help you expand your garage," she continued. "New equipment, better space, maybe even a second location. No charity, a partnership." He thought of Lily, of late nights, of grease-stained hands and honest work. He thought of the rain, the knock on the door, the towel around a frightened girl's shoulders. "I don't want favors," he said slowly. Claire nodded. "Neither do I want trust." He smiled, a small, steady smile. "Then we can talk." Months later, the garage had new lights, new tools, and a steady stream of customers. Adam still worked the floor. Lily did her homework at the desk, waving at customers like she owned the place. Sometimes, late at night, Adam would lock up and look at the streetlight across the road, remembering how a simple act of kindness had quietly rewritten his future. And somewhere in the city, a powerful CEO slept easier, knowing her daughter had learned what real strength looked like: grease on your hands, kindness in your voice, and help offered with no expectations at all.